Tune in every Tuesday at 9 p.m. for Nightcap Knowledge. Put the children to bed, get your adult beverage, and get ready. Nightcap Knowledge is rated Black and Uncensored and hosted by longtime community organizer and entertainment professionals Mr. Mac and DJ George Chuck. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. Nightcap Knowledge on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. Tune in and share.
Black with no chaser.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Put your kids to bed. It's about that time to get that nightcap. Get in the comments. Go ahead and share this. It's time for Nightcap Knowledge. We see the eyes out there. We see the thumbs up. We need everybody to get in the comments. Share this live to your feed right now. It's about to go down. Great conversation tonight. Hopefully we'll have fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the comments and, our usual nightcappers. Hopefully you already pulled up. You got your ice in your cup. You got your drink on deck. Mr. Mac, DJ George Chuck, and we have a very special guest in the building. DJ Young Venom will be enjoying the conversation with the nightcappers tonight. And maybe he'll tell us about some stuff that he has coming up at OffBeat too.
DJ George Chuck.
Hey yo, start your motherfucker off track.
Mac Attack, what's the business, dude? You got your light on. What you doing, man? You shit, you wasn't ready. You wasn't ready, man. You wasn't ready. You ain't got your mic on. You ain't ready.
I know I had the mic off on purpose because I'm trying to get the light ready, trying to get my light ready.
Man, you been backstage for 42 minutes, man. You ain't got your mic ready yet.
Hey. There we go. Talk that shit. There we go.
Oh man, what's cracking like it, man? What's the business?
Hey man, this is another good day. Trying to make things happen, trying to think of a master plan. You know how they say try to take over the world. With us, we trying to think of a master plan on how we're gonna save the world. So one community, one person at a time. So got some good stuff cracking, able to help a couple people. So that's always a good thing when we're able to serve, brother. Always a good thing.
You know it. So look, we've been down here, man. We got some rain on this end. What y'all looking like up there?
Yeah, we did too. Of course, it's a scary thing when you still got folks dealing with burst pipes and damage in tree limbs. And then we got more rain. Then we just had a storm last week. We had a storm that hit a lot of areas. So, when you see rain and flood in the areas, people still get a little nervous. We still are assisting people with the disaster relief. We still have people that are in hotels because they still can't go back to their apartments or houses because of the damage that was done to it from the storm. So anytime, them folks get nervous and they see a little rain because they never know what's about to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So definitely want to remind everybody about this show. Nightcap Knowledge is rated Black and Uncensored. Real talk, real issues, real solutions. We have a good time, but we also highlight some real issues that are plaguing the African American community. We highlight our social disparities and then also come up with some practical things we probably could do, what we should be doing to try to answer those questions. And we always make sure we check our mental state and keep ourselves healthy and happy.
So look, with that being said, man, you want to go ahead and jump into your mental health minute?
Well, I keep talking about, I think it was the last time we talked about, what did I talk about last time? This time we'll talk about perseverance, and I keep talking about perseverance. That's one of my motivational Mondays topics. Yeah, and I keep using that one because not that I don't have any more, because people are tired, and and I've been watching the show called Queen Sugar, and they show different shows are depicting how people were reacting when they first heard about the virus, and people just thinking it wasn't going to last long. We're going to have to shut it in place for a month and two, and here it goes, a full year since Agent Orange came out and told the world about it.
Right.
And you think about all the traumatic loss we had, and we think about people that we have lost and not being able to properly grieve and support them due to the pandemic. And so people are tired, So as we, continue to try to do what we can to stay safe, we're gonna plan to try to get back to whatever normal might look like. Just encouraging folks to keep working, staying strong, and just keep moving forward. Perseverance. Keep working, keep building yourself up, do things to make yourself stronger, and just continue to work. Don't give up. All our topics, anything we talk about most of the time, whether it be a topic directly related with mental health, or emotional health, financial well-being, physical health, whatever it be, we keep talking about. For one, control your emotions. Don't overreact. The second thing is don't give up.
Yep.
Keep fighting. Don't give up.
Right. Got to keep fighting. Got to keep going. You can't allow. I guess it's one of those things that trainers always say. Just when you think that you can't do anymore, once you break through that mental barrier, you'd be surprised what your body is able to do. So, look, I hear you loud and clear, man. We got to keep going, keep fighting the good fight. Don't get tired of doing good. I know that's not how the more philosophical people would say it, but at the end of the day, man, we got to continue to do the good that we can while we're here, and and peace to the ancestors, and we appreciate them for paving the way for us, and those of us who have lost folk, during the pandemic, or as we are in whatever part of the pandemic, man, it is what it is. We got to keep on going. We got to honor their memory and their legacy. Right here on Nightcap Knowledge, we'd like to thank everybody for chiming in with us tonight. We can see that you're out there. Go ahead and get in the comments and let us know who's there, where you're coming from. And Miggity Mac, I see you reaching back, you reaching around.
You gotta reach around, son. Reach around and see.
What are you thinking for this evening for your beverage?
Well, I got this little shot of Glenlivet 14. What you got? You got any Jack over there, Chuck? What you drinking?
I have a barrel bourbon tonight.
Okay.
It's a barrel Armida. It's bourbon whiskey finished in pear, brandy, rum, and Sicilian. Amaro cask, or I think that's Amaro or Amaro cask. I don't know, but quite fragrant. I don't think that is something that I would,
It's not like it can make you boo boo.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's finished in those casks. It doesn't have those things in it, Mac.
Right.
I mean, you're a person that the only thing you want to drink is smoky things. That's not me. Get the unk and keep it moving, man. You look, and then we're gonna cheers to everybody out there.
No. We got to do a special shot, bro.
A special shot. This is straight liquor, so I'm just going.
Well, this shot right here, we're gonna take it old school. We got to do one for Baby C. Got to do one for Baby C. So for those,
all right.
Yeah, we're gonna fake it. He won't be mad at you. So one of our good friends, longtime DJ, special effects, lights guy. When you think about freelance, you think about TP, you think about Dave, you think about Joe Nasty, and you think about Baby C. Baby C is an extension of the Tupu family. His brother Dexter Woodley, Jr., who is my frat, I helped bring in. His dad is frat. His mom is a Delta who also graduated from Tulu. We lost Baby C. And it's definitely is very tragic to everyone. A young brother, and everybody had good things to say about him. And every time he saw me, I don't know for what reason, his name for me was Cook Crack, and my name for him was Freebase. And so if I be somewhere and I just hear somebody holler out Cook Crack, and I know who it was. It's Freebase, and that was his name. He had a name for everybody. So I'm gonna pull out that little onk for him. We definitely gonna miss Baby C as we continue to provide support to be there for Dexter, his mom and dad. They are 2 years apart. So as he shared, he's never remembered a time without his brother.
Right.
So as we were talking about tragic loss and how we usually provide support, whether healthy or unhealthy, the frat and friends would have been there. If there have been a lot of brown liquor, we would have been there to support him. But due to COVID, we had to, alter our plan. So we definitely want to continue to support the Whitley family.
Yeah, most definitely. We know him as Baby C from Tougaloo.
Yeah.
But most people around Jackson and the Freelance area, they know him as King Curtis.
Yeah.
But most definitely Baby C, King Curtis, man, was a cool guy. I always had a smile on his face every time I saw him. So peace to Baby C, King Curtis. All right, man. Now we've been pretty busy with Mississippi Move. So give me the rundown on all the events and activities. I mean the amount of water we done gave out, the amount of people that we done reached. I know we talked about some of that last week, but let's do that rundown.
So we've probably Mississippi Move is part of the community rapid response coalition, and all of us been working collectively together, and also we've been working on different projects, but we've been kind of taking our own thing, like, hey, I'm gonna go work on this. Okay, well, I cover this group, I cover that group, and we have been extremely busy with providing food and water, vegetable boxes. So we probably given out about somewhere around 250 vegetable boxes, maybe 300 vegetable boxes we've given out. I don't want to count how many hot meals we've done.
It's in the thousands for sure.
Yeah. Between the number of caterers that we've been dealing with, we've given out a lot of hot meals. Right now we're still getting rooms for folks. We're still trying to help people with direct service. So we are also working on a long-term plan for disaster relief. And so part of our plan is we want to have some rooms and places where we can have folks if they get in the middle of the night, if they lose their house or something happen, we have somewhere to take them to and be able to put them up in a safe space. Also, on top of that, we've been continuing to do our ongoing work, which is voter registration, changing gears to GOTV. So we just had a few voter registration events, and now we're switching gears to GOTV. So we got that coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we actually, April 3rd, we'll be in Goodman, Holmes County, GOTV. April 3rd also, we'll be here in Jackson off of West Street. So Chuck will be holding that down. April 4th will be the Get Out the Vote rally. And we're going to run that down to everybody about who's all on the list for the Get Out the Vote rally / concert. And the blackest bus in the country was supposed to be in town, the Black Voters Matters bus with the co-founders, Brother Cliff and Sister Tasha supposed to be on the bus, supposed to be here too on that Easter Sunday, probably to the election day. And then also Mississippi Move will be on the ground on election day, April 6th, providing transportation to the polls. So we're going to be maintaining, but we're still going to be doing meals and helping people that are in need, that are still affected by the storm. We're also going to get back because elections have consequences. Leadership matters. Some of the reason that we have to do so much extra hard work because some of the folks that are put in position of the public service were slow to move, or if they moved at all, and they rather play politics and talk about legislation that don't matter. They turn down money when you're the poorest state in the union. So we got to continue to build our voting base and educate the community on why it's so important to vote and be an educated voter. And also while we work on a plan to save ourselves. Not telling people, no, we don't need to wait on them.
Right.
But we also need to be an educated voter to make sure we elect leadership that represent the community.
Well, good deal, man. I appreciate that rundown. We are very, very busy over at Mississippi Move. And, the Nightcap Knowledge is one of the ways that we try to keep everybody informed about the things that we got going on while dissecting and having conversations about real things, real problems, and then coming up with some real solutions. But tonight, the conversation, it has the opportunity to go a number of ways.
Right.
So, a lot of times people say that art imitates life, or, art is influenced by life, right? And I'm not sure how many Marvel fans that we have out there. As you can see, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it debuted on Disney Plus, right? And so from the photo or the design, the image that we've pushed around social media for the last couple of days, you know who the guest is for tonight. And if I had to pick a person that I would call a comic consultant, a person who is an expert in all things superhero, all things from any sort of comic book influence. If you want to know something about it, you got to go to a person that owns a shop like that. And I'm talking about none other than the owner of OffBeat. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for DJ Young Venom in the motherfucking building. Hell to the yeah. And why is my wife back? What's up, Venom?
That's a hell of an introduction, Chuck. That's one of the best introductions I ever got in my life.
Well, hell yeah. Look, I'm proud to give you that, man. I'm proud to give you that. Look at look, Janae says she's gonna give you a run for your money. And look, Janae, if you want to jump on tonight and you've watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1 of this in the 6-part series.
It's gonna be 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's gonna be 6-part.
So Janae, if you want to jump in, man, we can get. Oh, she says she loves your hair, Venom. Look, oh my gosh. I know she's not talking about my hair. My shit ain't that long yet.
Right.
But yeah. So Venom, look, man, how you been? Let's do a check-in first. Because I hadn't talked to you since I was on Clubhouse with you one time.
I'm doing all right, just trying to keep OffBeat up and going. We got a lot of stuff planned for the summer. A lot of big things working with some other Black-owned record stores that'll be like, I don't want to really talk about it, but like Vans has announced that they're doing like a compilation for Record Day with all Black artists, and then only like Black record stores will be able to get them.
Yeah,
but we about to start like a coalition with like Black record store owners and stuff like that. So we about to like really mobilize in a different way. So that's going on, and just trying to like I'm trying to plan for the future while staying cautious with COVID.
Yeah,
it's hard to like plan. Everybody wants to like have come to events at OffBeat, and I'm kind of planning them out, but I'm kind of like not. I'm keeping everything like under the table until stuff really kind of like the dust settles. So yeah.
Smart. That's smart. I've seen some other stuff that I think it was Vans that was doing it. They've got like a shoe that they're releasing, or you have to apply for it, and then they come up with a funky design that kind of represents,
that's the Foot Your Bill program that they do.
Yeah.
And I signed up for it like recently, and they might be hitting me back. They said they're gonna like vet me through, but I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But Mama Nature's here in town has their own shoe, so y'all should support them. So whatever, like they have like their own design, their own shoe, and their own like shirt, and they do like a limited amount, and however many that they sell, the whole net profit goes to that business, that small business. So they've been doing that with like small Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, etc.
Yeah. I immediately I was like, man, I bet OffBeat could get tapped for that. And I was like, well, let me mention it to Venom, because I just literally saw it the other day. So when I said, well, let's save that for the show, and then we can see if we can get some support around that. I don't know. Yeah. But look, let's jump in and dig into this the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So for those of you that have seen it, and for anybody that's in the comments or that's watching us on Black and Uncensored or Nightcap Knowledge on Twitch right now, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon, who is my boy Anthony from over there in New Orleans. That's Tanya Boyd Cannon's classmate. So he ends up giving the Captain America shield to some random white man in the community.
He gives it to the government. He gives it to the government, man.
Right.
It was a white man in the government. He didn't give it to Don Cheadle. What's my man name? War Machine. He didn't give it to War Machine. So what? It's the truth.
I mean, yeah, it's the truth, but go on. We get some stuff to unpack with that.
True. And look, I'm trying to lay it out as best I can. I'm no expert in any of this, but I'm just telling you the things that I remember from this. Now, and I mean, Sam gives this very, very like thoughtful speech. I would say one of the most moving, like speeches I've seen in a a Marvel movie. And this, it's this monologue, and you fast forward to the end, and I'm not skipping over anything, but you ask me to give this back, then you tell me it was the right thing to do. And at the end, here y'all ass come and gonna say, America needs a new hero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Sam, but fuck you. And then in the middle, Sam says, you know what? I've been doing the research. He's back in his family's life after being wherever the hell Thanos sent, 500,000 people, 5 million people. I don't know. I don't know what.
A lot of because he was dead.
Half of the damn earth. That's what he.
So you a whole dead person. You come back. The man that I don't know how y'all want to do this, but this is my mind has been all over the place with this. The man at the damn bank said, you haven't had any income for the past 5 years. Well, I was dead. I was wherever Thanos sent us, and then you want me to account for the last 5 years.
So I think it would be a good way, Chuck, if
y'all get it.
If Venom breaks it down and educate us from what what the whole thing works. But I can think of real life events, and I can that I could comment on about that. But I definitely want to get Venom's perspective on this whole thing.
Yeah, man,
he's the expert. Help us out.
All right, where you want me to start? Where you want me to start, Chuck?
You can give us some backstory for those of us that are not as well versed in the Falcon and or the Winter Soldier, because in the first episode you really don't get a lot into the Winter Soldier. It's a bit. I don't think that there was much, but I mean, give us some type of backstory to how we arrived at this particular moment, and then we can get into like the social or societal implications.
Okay, so with these characters, you got to realize these characters were only seen, and they got most of their stories in like Captain America movies. So with Bucky or Winter Soldier, he was introduced in the first Captain America movie. Then he like quote unquote died. In comics, nobody ever really dies.
Right.
Somebody always comes back. He comes back as the Winter Soldier. But during his stint as the Winter Soldier, before Cap like gets reanimated, he's been like alive this whole time as a sleeper cell assassin agent for Hydra. And like mind controlled and everything. So, and he has some form of a super soldier serum in himself. So he still looks, young.
Yeah.
He hasn't aged really. So with that, he still like, I don't know if y'all remember in Civil War, when Tony found out that Winter Soldier had killed his parents. He was the one who killed his parents. And Tony asked, "Do you even remember him?" And Winter Soldier says, "Yes, I remember everybody." He said, "I remember everything and everybody." So that leads us to the point of the show where Winter Soldier's having like these nightmares, flashbacks, and he's going through therapy, which is pretty much on par for somebody who's in the military that's been through war of some sort.
Right.
They should be going through therapy, honestly, if they're having PTSD like that. So he's having that, and he's trying to go through like all these steps of like reconciling what he's done and everything. And he meets a woman who was like a Hydra agent, and he sets her up to get arrested. And we see him befriend an old Asian man, and it turns out it's revealed that he killed his son. So he's trying to get up the courage to tell him that, hey, I killed your son and all this other stuff. So, but he's like the same age or almost the same age as this man. So he's befriended him and all this other stuff. So he's in conflict with that. Yeah, just hanging out. So he doesn't have anybody like that because the last person he had like that was Cap. And Cap we don't know if he's dead. It's presumed that he's dead, but I don't think he's dead. I think he's like underground or something. So, with Sam Falcon in the comics, he was very much a grounded hero. I cannot remember if he's from New Orleans. I remember a miniseries my mom had reading, and he was like he was like in the neighborhood, like in Harlem or somewhere, and he was like taking the neighborhood and trying to like make sure like the Avengers like, hey, we're Avengers, but we still need to like make sure we're doing stuff in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And he actually has like a power set. But I'll get into that a little bit later with some other stuff. But with Falcon, he has all this tech and he's military trained, yada yada yada. He was always in the comics. He was him and Bucky were always like Captain America's partners, not technically sidekicks, but partners. And to see these two interact with each other gives a dynamic to that. Especially there's an age difference because Bucky's gonna think one way and Falcon's gonna think one way.
Right.
Now, when we're looking into this as well, too, something that a lot of people probably don't know is the lead writer for this series is Black. I think majority of the team in this series is Black.
Yeah. I think like
so
I've seen some things that have mentioned that the whole writing, like the majority of the writing team.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I think his name is like. Actually, let me not butcher his name because I don't want to get it wrong. But there is going to be a lot of implications, and so this is where we're going to lead up to Falcon getting rid of the shield. At the end of Endgame, Cap gave that shield to Falcon. Is like, this is yours. This is yours. Like he gave it to him. He didn't give it to Bucky. He gave it to Falcon. Now in the comics, Bucky did end up taking that shield and becoming Captain America at one point before Falcon did. And so it was really interesting. So I don't know if we're going to get him as Cap or we're going to get Falcon as Cap, or we may get both of them as Captain America, because that has happened before. Malcolm Spearman is really lead writer. Thank you. So with that kind of comes into play with that. Now with Falcon not being able to get a loan, Tony was probably funding the Avengers, but this leads back to Falcon was in the military as well too.
Right.
And people in the military probably tell you better than I can, because I have family in the military. It's good and bad with it. And equivalent to him not, having any form of income for the last 5 years, he's been pretty much he started with Cap on Civil War, so he didn't have any money to begin with unless they were getting funded by T'Challa to be underground, because they were underground for like a year or two, because after Cap broke him out of prison. So there's that to consider. And he was really banking on himself being, this worldwide superstar hero. Like, hey, I'm Falcon, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, and you get that experience to him trying to help and, preserve a legacy of his family, not realizing that he was supposed to preserve the legacy of Captain America that Steve gave him, which is a lot of pressure. So there's that nuance. But then you have to realize the Black person's take on where they stand in America and in the military. And that may come into play in the series where, I can represent this country, but this country really doesn't represent everything that I hold dear, and the stuff that, as a Black person, especially as a Black person in a uniform, they don't represent them and their ideals fully to the fullest. And they can say, true justice, American way and all that shit. But as a hero who can't even get a loan to save his shrimp boat in Louisiana, it's kind of null and void at this point. So why would he continue to keep risking his life for that? And the little things can't even be accommodated for, or he can't be compensated for as a Black superhero. And they're probably, I'm pretty sure, because we got to see War Machine in there too, and they had a little bit of dialogue. So they've probably been chopping it up behind the scenes or whatever. Yeah. Malcolm Spellman had mentioned that they had written a ton of dialogue between them, but it's got skimmed down due to time constraints. And you can kind of tell from body language that, we're in this together. They're like the only two African American members of the Avengers. Everybody else is white.
Yeah,
or green. or an
80s,
alien.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Them two have in common with, like, if you follow in the movie, the people that they were partners with both are gone. So now they're kind of both left to take up the mantle. So when you think about Iron Man, now you're gonna think about War Machine. You think about Captain America, you're gonna think about Falcon. So they are in position to take the space and take the mantle and run with it. But as you were pointing out, you see from working with folks that we know that were suffering from PTSD or in the military, as soon as the uniform come off, in real life, they talk about it. I know a lot of the homeless that we help serve,
Yeah.
and talk about even the racism that they experienced while they were in uniform. But the difference of you see now so many tragic assassinations of young Black men and women when they have on regular street clothes, and then find out, oh, this person was a veteran. This person was home on active duty, and because you only see that Black face, and yet and still, no matter how much you sacrifice and how much you've done, we still not ready for that Black face to represent all the rest of white America.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Venom.
So I'm trying to think of where else I can like kind of pick up. So with this series, I think this series is gonna be more important than a lot of people think, especially the Black people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a storyline in the comics that I really like, and I want them to reprint it. They haven't reprinted it, and I'm hoping they probably reprint it after this series. It's called Truth, and it tells the story of the very first Captain America. So the very first Captain America isn't Steve Rogers. It's a Black guy named Isaiah Bradley. And they tested out the super soldier serum on Black people, a la the Tuskegee experiments.
Okay.
So when they it was like I think it was like a 6 or 8 part series. But when they were testing out the serums on Black people, guys would just explode. Like their bodies would like just explode with too much like muscle and whatever. And Isaiah Bradley was like one of the ones that survived the testing and everything. He was the only one that survived the testing, and he ended up taking like, a Captain America costume and going to war and everything. And they pretty much written him out the history books. He ended up having a son and a grandson that kind of like inherited, per se. I don't want to tell too much, but they inherited like his power set or skill set. But the drawback with him being the first super soldier, because that I don't think that serum was perfected, was he lost his mind deteriorated. He still retained his body, his mass, his muscle, but his mind deteriorated. So I think what we may get him or his grandson may show up in the series as a person, because they're starting to introduce like the young Avengers. Like we saw Ant-Man's daughter, we saw WandaVision's kids. They ended up being young Avengers. There's some more. Kate Bishop, she's a young Avenger. She's gonna be in the Hawkeye series, so she's like young Hawkeye. So there's gonna be a lot of like cool things coming about, and they're saying that episode 5 is gonna be like the breaking point for a lot of people.
Really?
It's like you probably gonna cry. So I'm thinking that may be an Isaiah Bradley reveal or some sort. I don't see them killing off Falcon. But I think something like major is gonna happen to like kind of shake things up. But I'm trying to think of what else. Like with this series, it's gonna be like I said, it's gonna be interesting. Were there any like questions that you had about that I probably didn't touch on? It's so much to
it's
go
a lot
around it.
Yeah, it's a lot to dig into it. I mean, you think about like racism, nationalism. I mean, you hit on it. Mac hit on it in terms of the reality of a person that makes a decision to join the military and then go to places that they've typically never even heard of outside of a news report, and in some cases they have to walk around outside of an army base or a military base, excuse me, and quote unquote, defend our freedom. And my I guess the discussion that I wanted to have. I mean, we're having it like, yeah, let's get some background on things that the average consumer of the TV shows or the motion pictures. What you've given some of those things, but I guess the point that I like to make is that we've never gotten this from Marvel, and I would say that I'm a consumer of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's productions, and for me, I've never seen this type of dialogue or these types of issues that are being raised or being highlighted within a Marvel production. So I'm excited to see what will happen in the next 5 episodes, but I'm also interested to see what will be the outcome of the writers' room, moving forward, or even with the future productions, how will this particular experiment, because this is truly an experiment for them. And you talked about the parallel between Isaiah Bradley and the Tuskegee experiment, but for Marvel, when you have a lead writer that comes from a particular experience that they've never had before, what does that mean for the rest of these or the next generation of the Marvel cinematic universe? So that's what's on my mind when I'm thinking of it.
Because the comics always push the envelope.
Yes, the comics,
yeah,
but not the major motion pictures.
Right, and that's why I see now
who consumes the comics. And
right.
Look, my brother, I had a conversation with him. Yeah. Like he's still a consumer of comics and graphic novels, but we don't see, and that's where I guess the purist, like folks who really and I can't call myself one of those, but for people who really know the storyline and understand how things shape up in the comic, they always say the movie does the comic no justice. When you agree with that, Phillip?
I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, Civil War does the movie does not do the comic any justice, and it couldn't, because it's so many characters in that Civil War comic.
Okay.
Like you got X-Men, Avengers, yada yada yada, Fantastic Four even in it. So those are characters that big climactic battle scene when you see two sides and it's down to less than 10 people. In the comics, it's over 50, 30 characters on the page, on the double spread page. So it doesn't do that justice, but it kind of gets a point across. And when we're telling stories like this, like with WandaVision, for instance, like that told a story about like postpartum depression. In a sense where people can kind of digest it in a different manner. And we as Black people, we deal with that on a daily basis. Like we get that shit shoved in our face through movies, news media, TV shows. I told my mom I'm Black traumatized out. I'm Black traumatized out. Like I still haven't watched Judas and the Black Messiah yet, just because of that. I know the story. I know the story, and I know how important it is. I do not feel like watching that movie right now, because it's just like whenever I decide to watch Malcolm X, and then I'll be pissed off for the rest of the week. It's gonna do that to me. So when we come back to stuff like that with comics have pushed the boundaries on, and it depends on how you look at it. If you're LGBT, if you're Black, X-Men is the most common example. In a world that fears and hates us. When this came out in the 60s and 70s, I was like, oh, that's about Black folks. Immediately, a lot of people, gravitated to that, because I mean, they look a slightly different, or they have something different about them.
Yeah,
but they love they they give you an angle of like, okay, they're just trying to like exist. That's it. They're trying to exist, and they show another subsect of mutants called the Morlocks, and they're just existing in a different plane in the sewers. And that
Right.
could be representative of the fucking ghetto if you want to look at it like that, because they're just outcasts and like we don't want to we don't want to deal with anybody. We don't want to deal with any humans. So you
Yeah.
leave us the fuck alone. So
Outsiders.
yeah, right. So you have stuff like that. So and that gets into classism in a
Right.
sense, which is I feel like it's a kind of an issue within our community that I have to tell people. I'm like, it doesn't matter how you dress, you still black, and you're gonna get stereotyped and stuff like that. I have to check a lot of people about that, and they're like, well, but that's another story. With the comics and with movies, these are just digestible media for people in different lights and different ways. Some people prefer comics, some people prefer movies. I like both. It just depends on who writes the comics. Um, and DC could be doing the same thing, and they've done it with Doom Patrol. I think that's probably their best work they got on TV right now.
Yeah.
But as far as the movies don't hit like Marvel movies do,
Right.
because they tend to skew with like current events, like the comics do. They tend to skew with a little bit more like more personality. Characters are more grounded, and so you get that stuff out of it. In a sense with in a sense with Falcon and Winter Soldier, you knew this was supposed to be the first series, right? This was supposed to come out
Right.
before WandaVision.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know that.
and I think it's greenlit for 2 seasons. I think it's supposed to be 2 seasons. So I think they already have what they want to do in mind. And War Machine's getting his own series called Armor Wars. So
Okay.
we're gonna see a different side of Don Cheadle's character in the near future.
So you think they already got that in the can, and are the writing team maybe, like you said, if it's already got the green light for 2 seasons, do you think they're gonna push forward after they see what the response is from this one?
I think they already got with Kevin Feige. He has stuff planned out for the next, I think, 3 to 4 years, if not further. But with these releases, like we're getting a Marvel show every week.
Yeah.
And if we're not getting a show, we're getting like a movie or a behind the scenes of the show.
Yeah.
But it's something we're getting flooded with Marvel content after a year of not getting any shows or movies. So I'm loving it, per se, because it's just like, okay, this is something I can watch every week. And I know a lot of people want to binge watch, but I like, taking media one step at a time. Just imagine reading these stories a month at a time.
Right.
And that's why I don't carry weeklies, because I know a lot of people rather read the whole story in one whop. I just carry the trade paperbacks, graphic novels. So yeah.
So we were talking about those films that speak volume. I know I read somewhere that Luke Cage is still one of the most asked about shows on Netflix. Like, asking them to, hey, can you bring back us another season? And even when they put the group together, people are still like, hey, we want to see more of this, because what stood out to me with Luke Cage was even the quote unquote villain was very educated and conscious. And he was telling you how he ended up in his circumstances and how he ended up in that position. It's like society left me no other choice but to be this person. I'm just saying, like, when you think about everybody from Cottonmouth, always, this is a brother that's playing the piano, but look how he learned how to play the piano. Look how he grew up and how he ended up being the person he was because of his upbringing. And but those movies spoke volume. It spoke, it definitely, but it showed a large black man that was conscious and was bulletproof.
Yeah.
And was wearing a hoodie everywhere he went. In times when a hoodie was one of the biggest profile paraphernalia you could put on your body. That spoke, that's what we want to see more of, that, because I like that show, right? I like Black Lightning. When Black Lightning we was talking about the super serum and how they experiment on a poor black town. That's throughout the country where they experiment in Port Blacktown, and who survived and how they would change. I actually, as an organizer, we worked with a group in Memphis where they had toxic being dumped into their community, and you had all these young ladies who was born with either no reproductive organs,
Mm.
or they had been affected by the chemicals from the water.
Yeah.
So this was in the 90s, early 2000s,
Yeah.
when we were dealing with this stuff. So when you see that on a TV screen, the folks who were around us doing the organizing work knew about this, but you didn't know about that. But when you see it put on a movie screen, it makes you more aware. I wonder how many real issues are going on like this in our society, and it kind of makes you pay attention to more stuff that you usually skim by, even if it's social media or the news. But for me, because we're already looking at that stuff, it feels good to see it highlighted on a larger screen, and we need to see more stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and I wanted to. I agree with you on that, Mac. But I also wanted to, I guess bring more light to Venom's comment about like those of us who are Black traumatized out. And then I think that deserves like a breathable moment where you understand, like you see these things on social media, or
Right.
you see these things reported on the news, and you see these things uh, in news articles that you might have to read, what have you, or you hear it on your morning drive while you're dropping the kids off at school or whatever, that this has happened in this particular neighborhood. But we typically never hear about the things that happen in the meth labs on the other side of town.
Right.
Now, what's the reason behind that? I know, I think everybody in these three little squares knows, and probably the people in the comments. But you definitely want to be able to catch a brain break when you go and you try to consume some things. But then you have these writers that introduce some of the real world issues into the things that we know, and the things that we experience. And I can say I appreciate the way that it was done. I'm looking forward to the next 5 episodes, but I also wanted to get some of the folks in the comments. We've got Marta Collier Youngblood and Arjane Wilkerson and Natalia Elisa Rodriguez. They're out in the comments right now, and they're having a great conversation. I think one of the things I wanted to throw up here, Marta is saying, I wonder how he manages that double consciousness of being a Black man and a superhero soldier. But you could take that soldier off, and then you could apply that to also Luke Cage, right? And then one of the questions that I had for Venom is, in this particular series, has the Falcon Sam, has he taken the serum? Has he been injected with that? I mean, I don't know. And then like with War Machine, he just gets in the machine and he just does his thing, right?
Yeah, War Machine, he's with how he deals with it, he's probably like, this is my job, I'm a soldier. This is pretty much this is another form of a jet or a tank, is how that's how
Okay.
Roddy pretty much looks at it. This is another way for me. This is a tool of war. That's why it's called a war machine. And in the comics, he becomes Iron Man, and he like takes over Tony's position as Iron. So he wears the Iron Man suit.
Okay.
But in the comics, I don't think Sam never gets the super soldier serum.
Okay.
He does have powers in the comics. So that little mechanical bird, Red Wing, in the
Yeah.
comics, he actually has a actual Falcon, and he can communicate it. He has like a psychic link with it and everything. And his power actually grows. And he gets that power from like an experiment. I think the guy he gets it from is called like the Power Broker. And there's an Easter egg at the end credits, like the Power Broker is watching or something, and like the little newspaper clippings or whatever in the end
Mhm.
credits. I had caught that, so I think he's gonna play a big part because the main villains, the Flag Smashers, they're trying to like unite the world, make a world without borders. without nationality and stuff like that. So they're trying to like, it's kind of it's one of those things where, oh, that's a good idea, but it's just like, is it a good idea considering how they're doing it? Because they're doing a whole kind of a Proud Boys or Antifa type deal. Depends on which direction you want to go with, but they're doing very clandestine, very kind of almost anonymous because they're using augmented reality to find them. Then like with Falcon, so his power grows to where he can see he can get a psychic link with any bird, any bird. So that leads him in one series I have. He can like kind of like how Batman kind of can control bats. There he can kind of control birds. But so whatever that bird sees, he can see. So he's good on like reconnaissance missions. So he finds out about a lot of stuff, and you know he's in the air, and he can go back and forth real quick. And also, he doesn't even have to be there if he's in vicinity of a cyclic with a bird. So I don't know if he'll get those powers because we saw him fixing up the mechanical Red Wing because it got damaged.
Yeah.
And I forgot the guy's name just that quick that was trying to help him that was helping him. They got beat up. Yeah, Torres. In the comics, he actually becomes Falcon. He takes the place of Falcon after Sam, when Sam becomes Captain America.
Okay.
And he gets his powers through the Power Broker. And he is kind of like a mutant, or he kind of has a kind of mutation where after he has actual wings. So that is that stuff can come into play and everything with the series as well too.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that Phillip got a chance to talk about some of the other things that he has going on outside of OffBeat. I know that you got or you're a regular, or you have a couple of podcasts that you frequent. I wanted to give you a chance to mention those, and then also if we had any questions for DJ Young Venom before we get out of here. And
Martin had a comment too.
Oh yeah. Martin's got another comment. But Phillip, tell them about your other podcast. I think you got like two of them that you're on, right?
I only got one, but we split it up now. So I got one called Geeked Up with Gamma Ray, my co-host, and we talk about pretty much everything pop culture from video games, anime. She's a lawyer that does cosplay here in town, and you can find that on all like streaming services from SoundCloud to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And we also started doing stuff on Fridays live on the Stereo app. So you can catch us on the Stereo app. You can just follow me, DJ Young Venom, and you'll get like notifications when we go live or when we're about to go live. And we're using Fridays to talk about like the Marvel series and any other series that comes out on Friday. So we'll be talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier until it ends, and then we're talking about this new show called Invincible, written by Robert Kirkman, who also wrote The Walking Dead. So this is an animated series, and it has a crazy voice cast for it. It's one of my favorite comic book series. It has a huge twist. I don't want to give anything away for people that haven't read it, but it's very, very good. It's very gory. Don't let your kids watch it. It can get really bloody really quick, and it's very mature. So it's not as bad as The Boys. The Boys kind of like really like too mature in some aspects, but it's not at that level.
On Prime? Was that on Prime? Was that right?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, Invincible will be on Prime too.
Okay, all right, good.
But
yeah, look. Go ahead.
No, but that I mean that's really it. That's what I got coming up. It's funny because I remember you said you wanted me to mention like the process of OffBeat because we want to talk about like Falcon can't get a loan, and he pretty much his wings are pretty much his charger. You know a lot of people get in the military and they get a charger or a challenger or something like that. That's his charger or challenger. And being back, opening up a black-owned record store, comic book shop, what have you, I didn't start OffBeat with I didn't get a loan for that. Everything is out of my pocket. And I've thought about it, but then I was like, no, I don't need to be in any more debt because I'm in a little bit, but I'm fine right now. I'm in the process of looking for another building, and during this process, I'm running through the same hindrances as I did when I was first looking 7 years ago. And now I get an email saying I get an email, and I kid you not, from a record store in Oxford saying that they are opening up a second location in Jackson, and they wanted to meet with me. And I'm like, and it feels very much here we brought some blankets for you as a peace offering. That's what it feels like. That's what the email reads like.
Shit.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about it, honestly. I really not. I'm still, I mean, they're as white can be. Um and they can't, they're gonna be strictly records, but it is what it is. It's gonna cut into a little bit, but I'm truly not worried about it. It's just upsetting that they said that they have 3 locations in mind in Fondren, and I won't even get a call back from anybody in that location in that area. So I'm like, okay, cool. So to hear that is disheartening, but not surprising.
Yeah.
And plus, I mean, the rent's probably gonna be way too high anyway, so it's like whatever. But it's still like, well, damn, that's like right down the street from me. You could at least go a little bit further away, but that's fine. So that's
crazy, man.
I feel Falcon's pain in that, but now I'm just like, I'm also like, I'm gonna just have to roll with the punches as I normally do.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Because we do a financial literacy workshop, and we teach by how we would, like, as a Black person, you'll take your business plan to the bank for support, and they'll tell you how your business plan is real. Oh, it's got so many holes, it's not any good. And they'll take that same damn plan, call a friend or somebody they know in a whole nother area, and here they come knocking to bring the same idea. And the thing is, I remember never forgetting, Celie McGinnis was saying when his grandfather had a store, and the white man came and opened up the store in the neighborhood and told him, hey, you might well go ahead and close your store. He said, because the folks are gonna, he just automatically, the arrogance of knowing that they were gonna get all the money they needed, and they were gonna get all the resources they needed, just because they came and did it. And that's when we got to stand strong and not support anybody outside the person that's been here. And that's when the organizing piece really meets the rubber meets the road, and say, hey, no, we need to push this brother. We need to actually work hard to make sure we do buy-ins and support this brother, because they are intentionally bringing, they see the value in it, and they bring another record shop here just so they can get the business. You know what? I was on 80 the other day. And I'm thinking, like, man, what if OffBeat was in the old bebop? I thought about it the other day. Because my daughter was here, and I brought her, before the pandemic, I brought her by OffBeat and got her Black Panther comic book. And I was thinking, like, man, what if OffBeat was right there? Like, right on that corner with all that space. What could you do? But hey.
Can't do nothing with that building because the roof is fucked.
They fucked that building. And then they stole half of the shit. Yeah. But that go back to ownership. We don't own anything. And they use those buildings like that have commercial grade equity. And they use that to do stuff in a whole other area and never do anything about the building. And then they write it off on their taxes as a depreciating asset.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. So we get fucked both ways. We don't get the building because they want to charge the same amount it was when it was turnkey, and it hurts the community. And then they still win. So, hey, y'all started me. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead.
Well, no, man. I mean, it's an interesting conversation, and I mean, this is definitely where I wanted to go with it. And I think, we enjoyed the conversation around, breaking down the comics or the storyline of the new TV show. But when you think about it, I mean, when we started Yard Boy, or when we started The Nest, or when we started OffBeat, or when we started Mississippi Greek Weekend, or any other thing that like we would do this. You look in your pocket, And then you be like, all right, shit, let's see what we can do with $5.
Right.
You know what? You figure it out as a business owner. The one of the things that I think I was watching a video the other day. Robert Kiyosaki was like, if you're a person that wants to go to work and they have a salary and all of that, like that's your mindset. There are some people who are like, all right, well, I'm willing to figure it out. And like, if you want to be able to make, not necessarily make a check or make money, and you want to be able to do business, like you have a particular mindset. So it's like, man, look, hey, you don't want to give me no loan. You don't want to, provide me the same type of access as a person, that if I was another person, I wouldn't have any impediments in my way to get access to what I'm asking you for. Then, you know what? I'm just gonna show your ass. I'm gonna show y'all motherfucking ass that we're gonna get this shit out the mud. And then, you know what? When it all boils down to it, I'll be able to say at least one thing. I did it my way. I did it for my community. I did it the way that I wanted to do it from my heart, and I didn't allow anything that you put in front of me to be a stumbling stone. So look, give God the glory. Thank the ancestors for paving the way and giving us the girth, the grit, the perseverance. But man, look, we're gonna figure it out. And at the end of the day, look, if we need to, do some type of campaign to make sure that folks, move the way that they need to move to really create this solidarity economy, to really, move and groove in a cooperative way, that's what we do. And we're gonna do business with each other by any means necessary. We're gonna breathe by any means necessary as a business and as a people.
Yeah. And say this to them, Young Venom. Tell them your ass and fuck you. That's it. You can say it without saying it.
They wanted to meet me. They wanted to meet me with and have a beer with me, is what they said. And I was like, I'm not going out. Just come to the shop, because I know what they want. And the thing that I have the thing I have an advantage over them is I'm in the community, in the music community, and in Jackson as a whole. So I know what's going on around here.
Yeah.
So if they set up in Fondren, they're gonna be Fondren. They can have it. It's one business I only really mess with in Fondren. Aside from like the shoe repair place, I haven't taken them anything yet. But it's one other business I mess with in Fondren, and one other business alone, really. Everything else is kind of like whatever. It's whatever. But I mean, for them to say that in the email, and they were like, "Hey, we're part of this record store coalition. We want to help you, share some of the resources that we have with you." And I'm just like, "Why don't you just invite me to the coalition?" Is my initial what I want to ask them. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't need it. If you known about me, and I could benefit probably being a part of that coalition, but you didn't invite me to it or suggest to anybody else. So I'm just like, I see what you're saying, but it's bullshit. Yeah. So when we start this Black record store owner coalition, I'll be straight. I don't need. We don't need y'all. We're gonna have our own.
Yeah, and that's something I tell anybody. I said, man, my ideology. I can sit down with Chris McDaniel. We're gonna agree on everything about what we need to do. But the only thing about it is, I want our people to do it for themselves. I don't want you to give us shit. And that's the issue with them. They want to be able to give you stuff, and that way to be able to get you to do things and be able to hold it over your head. No, we want you to get the fuck out the way and let us go get it ourselves. But we got to get to the point, if you don't move, we're going to move you. That's where we got to be at this point. There's no more all this other bullshit. No, I'm so tired of them telling black men, especially, you got to humble yourself. Humble your ass. We got to go get ours and take care of our folk.
Next time.
That's why I said they got to come to me.
Next time they say something.
You done insulted me, and I got to kick your ass right now.
Hey, and then this.
Oh, I'm gonna do that anyway. Because that's how I am.
Hey, that right there. Play that for him. And as always, y'all, at the end of the day, man, we got to get to where the money resides. So,
Wait.
anybody that's in Jackson, I know this man got a website. Y'all go ahead, go check out OffBeat Jackson. OffBeat Jackson. It's very Googleable. Like, it's highly findable. We need y'all to go ahead and buy something. Hell yeah, hey man, look, we ain't come here to sit at nobody else's table. Y'all go buy
your own goddamn table.
Yeah, y'all go buy some stuff for OffBeat and whatever we need to do to support the Black Record Owners Coalition, Black Record Store Owners Coalition. We got you, brother. Hey, the whole platform, Black with No Chaser, all day, every day. And we're going to do it just like
Black
that.
with No Chaser.
We'll see y'all next week. It's out. This is Nightcap Knowledge, Mr. Mac, George, Chuck, Venom. We appreciate you, brother. Peace.